Hello and welcome. My name is Tom.
And I'm Heather.
And this is the couples table.
And you're sitting at
And
the
you're
couples
sitting at
table.
the
The Couples Table is a live stream podcast here on this channel. Join us for better or worse,
For richer or poorer,
in sickness and in health.
as long as we both shall stream.
We changed one thing and
It threw me off.
it
The
was.
whole thing threw me off.
Wait, we should sit closer together.
It's just
No, that's not you. It's
Oh,
fine. Yeah, that's good.
This chair has big arms that go like it's the executive style situation.
Wait, let me lock the scene in. All
Lock
right,
it.
lock it up.
Pop it, lock it.
Here we go.
All right. So, hello everybody.
Hello.
Go
ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say how y'all doing. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh no, I was trying to figure out what this is, and this is your Rode headset.
Oh, this? Yes,
Yeah,
this is the
I
Rode
just wanted-
NTH100.
Yeah, great.
Or as they say in Australia, NTH100. Because you say like H, not H. You put that. Anyway.
Hey,
H.
H-E-A-T-H-E-R.
It's like Z, Z and Z.
H-E-A-T-H-E-R.
H-E-A. Yeah. Anyway. Whoever's listening to the audio only version of this, I am very sorry.
All right, so
So this is potentially, I'm not 100% sure, and I could be wrong, and I am sure right here because I'm using the Shure
Wow.
SM7B. But this might be the first, if not at least one of the first, live streams using the Rodecaster Pro 2.
I think it's the first live stream ever,
I mean,
like a working one.
yeah, if it's not, it just means somebody else probably. It means something maybe a little strange happened. But I know some people did get access to the firmware yesterday, so there might have been some people who jumped on as quickly as possible. But I don't know. But anyway, this is at least one of the first ones, which is also probably one of the only times you're going to have a Rodecaster Pro in Heather's studio.
Yeah. Yeah, so to answer your question, Sammy, no. But Tom is doing a live stream all about the Rodecaster Pro 2 this Saturday over on his channel. So we figured you can test it out.
Yeah, we're going to kind of test it today. It's not the main topic that we're talking about, but
Yeah.
everything you're hearing is going through it.
The
I didn't really do
Rodecaster.
anything special. I'm using the Shure SM7B, and I just put the SM7B setting on. Heather's using the MV7, and I just put the generic dynamic mic setting on. So I didn't really do a whole lot in terms of EQing and processing. But the very, very cool part is there's no boosters or anything. This is the SM7B, and it's like I have so much more gain and volume that I can push towards it if I wanted it to. But it should be plenty loud right now, which is why I wanted to use this mic to show that, because that is pretty cool. And yeah, we got our sound effects.
Dun, 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 dun. Yay,
So,
yay.
so that's that. You can hear this, and then yeah, on Saturday morning over on my channel, we'll be doing a stream all about the Rodecaster Pro, where I can walk through stuff in real time, and more importantly, if people have questions about how to do something, can it do something, we can just explore it together in real time. But I should say, just in case to kick things off, this is still using beta firmware.
Yeah.
I have not had any issues with the beta firmware myself, but you beta believe things could be different for the actual release, or if something weird happens,
Yeah.
which has not happened to me so far in the few weeks I've been using it. But my disclaimer, this is not the final firmware.
Yeah. Cool.
So anyway,
Join us on Saturday. What time is it at?
9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
There you go.
Yes.
So shout out to everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for being here. Tech Free Needs is asking, are you doing a vlog with Peter Lindgren?
We did. Well, he's home now. But we each recorded at least one vlog, but that's kind of what we're talking about today is things we learned from Peter. And one of the things, just to spoil it, is, oh my God, workflow and managing multiple things at once. And, I learned a lot there.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Peter, well, first of all, who's Peter Lindgren?
So-
for those of you who don't know, 'cause
Yeah.
admittedly, I think I've watched like one Peter video. So he's cool though. So it's just, I love you, Peter.
So yeah, it was pretty surreal because Heather and I, as you know, like met on YouTube. We got married on YouTube. We came up with this live stream during our wedding reception
Yeah.
on YouTube. And Peter and I met through YouTube, but lived in Long Beach when we met, and then you moved here and we lived together. And Peter
Yes.
lives in Sweden and then came all the way over to the US to spend some time with us, which blew my mind to be like in a house where it was like you know,
He's in our house. He's in
yeah.
your
But
studio.
the coolest people I've like ever known,
Oh.
which I met through YouTube, all in one place, is very, very cool. So
So he is he's in the photo video niche.
photo video filmmaking niche on
Yeah.
YouTube. The funny thing with Peter and I is we started our channels at, I think, like the exact same time, like the exact same summer of 2017. Our channels were like exactly the same for the first 2 years, I think. And then summer of 2019, his channel just absolutely exploded and took off. And now, I mean, very then, pivoted to being a full-time thing, and it's now at almost 550,000 subscribers, well over 500,000
Mm-hmm.
people subscribe to that channel. He's also got a second vlog channel, which is I think it just passed the 13,000 subscriber mark, which is super
Mm-hmm.
cool because that is, the main channel is very like focused on products and reviews and tutorials. It's very, it's very specific. And then the vlog channel is obviously much more personal. Like it's about the person. And it was cool to see that people were still on board, even if it wasn't just about like showcasing a new product or whatever. But it's like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah. So we've been friends for a few years, and then he came over and visited, and that was really cool because despite a case of, I don't know, food poisoning or something, which did cost us a day, basically, we still got to spend several days hanging out, several days filming and shooting. The three of us, the two of us, and then both in the desert, at home here, and in the LA area, which was very, very cool. So lots of gigabytes captured.
Lots of gigabytes captured, but then lots of takeaways.
Oh my God, yeah.
And actually Tom and I waited until, let's see, Peter left, then you came back from dropping him off at the airport, and we were just dead from
Oh my
being
God.
super tired at IHOP, and just like, all right,
I have thoughts.
we have to we have to recap what the heck, like everything, and we just basically had the pre-show of this, and we were like, we should talk about this on the couples table.
Yeah, it was super cool. So that's what we wanted to talk about today, was just share some of those things, not just from. So I've said for a long time on this show, even a bunch, that I think anybody hanging out with another creator will learn something. It doesn't matter the
Yeah.
niche, doesn't matter the size, just hanging out and shadowing someone while they do their thing, you're going to pick something up. You can cherry pick ideas for your own workflow. And I still think that is absolutely true. But for me, it was really cool to shadow someone who was who's working at just a different level. Because not to toot my own horn, but like I taught digital media for a decade. I'm kind of used to being like one of the more knowledgeable video photo people around. Like it's usually I'm sharing knowledge I have with someone.
Same here.
And being in a situation where it's like, now I'm working with someone who's way better at this than I am, and has way more skills and knows more and has more experience. Was very, very fun. Like I know there's a thing that people say, like you need to spend some of your time with people who are like beyond you, because that's how you grow. And oh my God, like I learned a lot from that. And from having outside input. And the two of you, there's been times over the years where like both you and Peter, probably my two most trusted like feedback sources for YouTube related stuff, where if you guys kind of approach me about something or an idea or whatever,
Intervention.
it really like hits in a really specific way. So then selfishly having the both of you there was great. And I was really excited because you, with both of your channels, have been going through kind of a transition period.
Yeah.
And even though Peter's in an entirely different niche than you are, it was great to see you guys connect and kind of brainstorm and come up with ideas and just sort of share thoughts and experiences and all that. And that made me really happy.
Yeah. It was the first time where I actually didn't feel like I was doing something wrong. And that's something I was honestly worried about. I was like, oh, I feel, because every time I've like hung out with other creators, sometimes it just gets like overwhelming because you feel it's hard. This could just be me, but I have a tendency to look at someone else's workflow, process, numbers,
and feel like that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, like they're doing it right. They're seeing success. So that means the way that I'm doing it is wrong.
Right.
But if anything, it made me, because last week we talked about my creator creed, and we talked about like you know, like I just feel more clarity in terms of my own
It almost
brand
like
and what I'm trying to
solidified
create.
things.
Yeah, it solidified it. Even though it was almost like seeing like, oh, this is how I not that I don't want to do it, but seeing Peter in his element and like just seeing the well-oiled machine made me be like, oh, this is how it could look like for me
Right.
in my
You don't
own
have to do
way.
that. You can
Yeah.
do your version
Because
of
here's the
that.
thing, like I'll tell you right now, there's no amount of money, no amount of time in the world that could make me as good of a filmmaker as Peter. Like it's just not. I just don't have the interest, right? So like, there's just no way that I can, you know, I'm never gonna care to have a gimbal and to like set that up and everything.
Swap
Like
out lenses and stuff.
I can never make my content have the same look as him, but it's like that's his like X factor. And it made me think like, you know, well, what's the thing that comes naturally to me? Because geez, talk about it coming naturally for
Yeah.
Peter. Like he does not have to think about this at all. It's just like and this and this and this and like it's
I mean,
just
he's
like
put in the reps too. Like,
yeah. And we'll get into it,
yeah.
but I just to like kick off the conversation, that was a lot of it was fun. It was like, it could also be the place that I am in my life where like I'm confident in like my
Yeah.
value and all of that. But it just like it was also like YouTube is so cool.
Yeah, right?
It's still so cool. Like everyone can hate on it all day, but like I don't know, it just made me appreciate what we do again.
Yeah.
All
oh my
over
God,
again.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's just finding other people's workflow is cool. So we both made notes without knowing that the other made notes. So we can kind of go through and share some points that we learned specifically and sort of discuss that. And that's what we'll be talking about today.
Yeah.
But first, we'll check in.
Let's check in.
Yeah. I don't have the thing over there.
All right.
Matt's counting puns. If I do too many or not enough, I will get pun-ished.
Peter Lindgren's both channels are great. Love his Swinglish. That's very local, Swedishy, especially him coming from the cool Swedish town Gothenburg.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing too, because I think Peter gets this a lot, but we get it too. People who don't speak English as a native language and are uncomfortable starting a YouTube channel because they'll have an accent or they'll mispronounce things. And Peter's such a great example because you can go back and watch his like older videos on his channel and see that like the accent is significantly stronger, but he's also trying to speak more perfectly. And then somewhere along the way, it was like, if I mess up a word, who cares? Like, it's not a problem. And like his English is exceptionally good, but having a bit of an accent, mispronouncing words from time to time, it just kind of makes it more endearing and more unique rather than just like, this is a very perfect like office presentation that I don't want to watch, like I'm watching somebody's video instead.
Ono Coffee, does Peter travel and shoot his videos solo or does he have a team?
He is a solo guy.
Totally. Everything was in a backpack and a camera bag.
But he is. So one thing that I've learned, so, he's thinking of doing some videos coming up that we were just talking about earlier today. I won't give away what they are, but one of them involved like say like a top athlete in a field. Like in order to do the video he wants, he needs an athlete in a field. And I was like, do you know a top athlete in this field? And he's like, I do now because of Instagram. So when he has ideas, like if you watch his channel, you'll see stuff where sometimes he's doing it by himself, but he might need like an actor in a thing, or he might need someone to drive a car, like, like an action-y car scene, more than just a normal person would drive a car. Someone who specializes in something. And he's not at all shy about just like looking up locally, reaching out to people. Hey, I'm making a video. Do you want to do this?
It's him though. To answer your question,
yeah,
like
the filming, the editing, the
yeah.
conceptualizing is
yeah, he can collaborate
him.
all day, but it was only him here,
which was great for me because that's how I work too, and
yeah,
it was easier to sort of like learn lessons from a workflow that is like a version of my own workflow,
right? And I think that's why I was like, I've gone to events with really big YouTubers, but like there's like security, there's a manager, there's like the personal assistant.
It's like a celebrity.
Yeah.
It's like you need to be here at this time and you need to do this.
You're just on a different level that I don't even aspire to be on.
Right.
But like I'm a fan of you. But Peter's like, it's literally the same. Like a lot of your stuff was the same.
Yeah.
Like it's we were all three of us with our laptops on the kitchen counter just talking YouTube.
That was fun.
That was
That
really
was
fun.
very fun.
Okay, so let's get into like the practicals because
Sure.
I think like I think there's a lot of things that if you're doing YouTube too are just really practical.
Yeah. So do you want to kick it off?
No, you kick it off.
Okay. The biggest thing that I took away was it was workflow related, but it was how Peter is a combination of taking advantage of situations and managing multiple projects at once. And it was so impressive. I don't even know the number of videos he made. I know he would say he didn't make enough videos while he was here, but I know between both his channels, he made 5 videos in 3 days.
And that's being KO'd for a day and a half.
Yeah. So, and it could be a little more, it could be a little less because he was I shouldn't say effortlessly. That's not true. It seemed effortlessly switching between them. So it's like, okay, he had a couple like brand sponsored related videos that he really like needed to do. So these are high priority projects that have to get done while I'm here because they're, for a paid sponsorship kind of a thing. Okay, so I'm gonna be doing those videos here. Here's, just sort of a video I had an idea for. Here's a couple of vlogs that are gonna go on the other channel. And if we went somewhere like on Friday, we went all through like the Joshua Tree National Park, and we're stopping at different places. And it's like, okay, we're gonna stop here, jump out, and now I need this gear because I'm gonna film this part for this video. But now I'm gonna jump over here and do this vlog stuff over here, and now I'm gonna do, I like that morning when we had all our laptops on the kitchen counter. It was really fun because we all kind of outline our videos the exact same way. Like we hit the bullet points, hit the main structure, have the guide, but it's not like it's a script or anything. It's just sort of these are the things I need to hit. So then you get to a location like, okay, it's this video. I need to talk about these things. Peter's really good at storyboarding in his brain in a way that I've never seen anyone do, where he's like, okay, it's the talking head part. I need to talk about these 4 features here. And then I need a shot of me walking up. I need a close up of this. And then I need, I need to switch this lens and get this shot here. And then he just goes and like does it. But we go to one location and he films parts for 3 different videos.
Which is like, I was so excited for Tom to observe that because he's definitely, in his head, might be brainstorming multiple videos at the same time, but you definitely only...
I'm a 1 video at a time
if
production.
you start one video, nothing else gets worked on until that is done. Which is, that's not saying that it's wrong.
So the thing is, like, I don't necessarily want to change that and always be working on 4 or 5 videos at a time, because I do like the 1 video at a time approach a lot of the time because it lets me really focus on something, and it's how my brain works. Like
I don't think I honestly can do multiple videos at the same time.
But it has taught me like taking advantage of situations. So you're going out to Joshua Tree National Park. Okay, this is a really cool location. What can I film for all these different things I need to work on here? Like I can take advantage of this situation. If you have your studio set up, like sometimes I'll set up an overhead camera and stuff, and then 4 days later I'll film another video. I'll have to reset up the overhead camera. Wouldn't it be smarter to go, hey, I've got the overhead camera set up. I know I need to work on this video. I'll film this overhead part and then also this overhead part. Like when you have something set up, when you're in a certain location, when you have access to certain equipment, how can you make the most of that and like take advantage of that, even if it's something that you're just going to save for, a week or 2 later until you put it in whatever video it's for.
So Peter's shot list, is it all in his head?
From what I saw, yeah, I'm sure, the level of video, I'm sure he also makes notes and things, but the way he can storyboard, it's almost like he has it outlined on the computer, but when we're like physically in the location and we're getting ready to go shoot, it's almost like you can imagine like an athlete before like a game going through the play, like, okay, you do this, and it's like it's all locked in and then go.
3 videos in one location. Does he change wardrobe? So it's not necessarily that it's like filming 3 videos in one location, like full videos, but like I gotta get the B-roll for this.
I need B-roll of this and a talking head point here. I can read a sponsored segment here, but he did bring like extra shirts and was like, maybe I should switch shirts just so the videos look different. But one thing we did talk about too was a lot of times when people are early on in YouTube, they will spend 30 seconds of a video apologizing because their shirt changes halfway through. Like, oh, it's here. I know I'm in a different shirt. I'm filming this on a different day. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares we're in the same shirt every time. Nobody cares we're in a different shirt every time, or it changes halfway through. Just don't even waste time talking about it and just move on with the content.
Yeah. Also, that creative girl, this is a glitter pop filter, which Matt did a super chat for. I was like, it's not
A Matt
sponsored.
chat. Yeah.
A Matt chat.
Sponsor
Yes.
chat. Video sponsored by Matt.
Okay, cool. Want to move on to the next thing?
Yeah. So that was my first. That was a really big takeaway because I saw that over multiple days in multiple locations, balancing different videos and seeing those videos because he hadn't started any of them when he got here. I don't think. And so seeing it go from idea to execution to like over multiple days, like that's right. Yesterday I finished this part, and there were even times where it's like I did this part of this video in Joshua Tree, but now we're in Long Beach. So I think I'm gonna do that part again, just so I have two options to choose from when I'm editing. Was very, very, very cool to see. What's yours?
Okay, so I'm debating which one to start with. I'll start with this one because I think it was the most impactful for me, which is incorporating personality with authority. Because that's the big takeaway that I'm planning to like incorporate into my own thing. So the way that I approached YouTube is like I had a vlog channel and that was, oh, I don't care what goes on that. Like that's just the like, you know, I dump my thoughts and I document it. Yeah, exactly. Like there's really no strategy. And then there's the tutorial channel where it's like the total opposite, like very strategized, very like, this is my value proposition. This is the brand. This is like the tagline and this is what you can expect. And there's a upload schedule and all this. And I think for the past 6 years, it's always been this like which we're, just like doing 2 channels is really hard. Especially growing 2 channels is really hard. And then also trying to build a business out of it. The thing that I will say, I think this is, Peter's a proof of concept of it. And it's also kind of like a hypothesis that I believe is happening with how the platforms are changing, including YouTube, is that like, the thing that really wins in terms of longevity and sustainability is when you can make a personal brand become the authority in a niche.
Yeah.
So I know that like sounds like, of course, that's what Pat Flynn does. What are you talking about? But I think the instinct is to do what I did and be like, oh, I'm a YouTube coach. Like this is the thing that I teach, or I'm a fitness coach, or I'm a, whatever teaching thing, tutorial thing that you want to be. And then you just go into the tutorials. Like, let's talk about the basics. Here's the getting started. Here's how to level up this. Here's what you need to know. Here's the breakdown. Here's the setup. Here's, start to finish, A to Z, what have you. And that works. The difference is that with tags not being as important as they are, and with the most important metric of YouTube being not only watch time, but also viewer session time, right? So like how long are you keeping someone on YouTube? Great way to do that is for people to watch more than one of your videos. If they're already watching one video and they watch another one, like they're more like you're already getting them in a path that's like watching another one of your videos is just a natural thing to do. So I completely forgot what I was saying.
Being a personality with authority.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go through like the whole A to Z thing, but what Peter does really well is like making it about him.
But not in a, like self-centered.
Yeah.
way.
So immediately you're like, I can't do that. Like I can't. It can't be about me. Like I want to help people. That's what I'm here for. Like I want to help people, right? But I think the thing that resonates, the thing that makes you stand out is the way that you do it.
Yeah.
It's your approach. It's the way that you do it start to finish. It's the way that you do it A to Z. So admittedly, this is not revolutionary info. It's not rocket science. It's not like something that I didn't already know, but seeing it in action was like, it just clicked for me. Like, I can't believe I haven't done it this way this whole time. So here's an example. Um, Peter will do a video about, I don't know, say he's doing a video on the Roadcaster for
Sure.
some reason.
He has one.
There you go. So he can, anyone would be like, okay, if I'm gonna do a video about like the Roadcaster, I'm gonna tell you what it is and like how to use it, and like your favorite thing about it or whatever. What Peter does, to my knowledge, is like, I got this Roadcaster, and here is how it fits into my life and
Right.
my workflow. So you might even be saying the same things, but the way that you explain it, what you show in the video, and what the viewer takes away is so much more about the lifestyle of someone who uses a Roadcaster versus just using the Roadcaster. And the reason why this makes a difference is that for my videos, for example, I do a lot of Canva tutorials. So if you want to know how to make a YouTube thumbnail using Canva, you can look up one of my videos and then you leave because I have taught you how to solve your problem. Right. You don't need to watch another one of my videos. But with Peter, it's like, if you like the lifestyle of like, oh, this is the type of person who also, I don't know, has a really cool studio background or like likes these certain things or whatever personality he shows in his videos, it will get to the level of where Tom's at, where it's like, I don't even care what you're talking about, but I want to hear it from you. Like, I want to see how this thing, this tool, this gear thing fits into your life because your life resonates with mine.
And Peter's also really good at, like, in those situations. Sure, it's the Roadcaster's designed to do these things, but he'll usually come up with a spin that's like, what's something I could do? Like, okay, actually, here's a real example. When the DJI Mini 3 came out recently, like their newest drone, one of the claims was like, wow, it really handles wind a lot better. So a lot of people flew it on windy days. Peter went out and got a leaf blower. Like, he bought a really powerful leaf blower, flew the drone, and then like, yeah, there's a shot of him just like fighting it with the leaf blower basically while he's yelling into the camera over the sound of the leaf blower. Like, it's supposed to be rated for like this much stuff, like, and the thing's going. Nobody else is doing that. And that's not practical. You're not going to be flying the drone into a leaf blower, but it's like, hey, this thing said it's good at wind. Like, that's the kind of thing he would do. That's not what everyone needs to do, but it's like that little spin that
like personal, yeah, like just the way that you would do it.
That's like the way he approaches it. We have this thing, it's meant to do this. Could we push it a little bit over here and make it do something a little different? Like, that's just kind of what he does. And so putting that into video form is really cool. Not everybody needs to do that, but finding whatever that is for you. Like, you know, like some people are so animated and excited, and that's normal, and other people are really laid back. The laid back person shouldn't feel like they need to be animated because the laid back part of their personality is the thing potentially that could draw people to them. Like, it's how would you approach the thing rather than just, I'm going to read you the product description from the website. Like, well, I could do that. Like, I don't need to watch a video.
Right. So if you're making videos, I'll speak for myself. If I'm making videos where you could really just take me out and replace me with somebody else, I am doing it all wrong.
Right.
And that is the difference. Because what happens then, since I already have 2 channels, which by the way, don't have 2 channels, but like what happens then is like, I put all the fun stuff and all the lifestyle and the personality and the parts of my life purely into the vlog channel, which I've admittedly told myself, like, you know, I don't care about the vlogs. Like, it's just a way to document. Like, I'm not trying to grow it, blah, 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 blah. Minus the couples table, it's different. And then there's the tutorial channel, which is like the total opposite. I don't even say my name. I don't even tell you who I am. I don't say like anything about me. I just say, hey, do you want to know how to make a YouTube thumbnail in Canva? Cool. In this video, I'll show you how. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Great. Bye. Who the heck? Like,
I mean,
do you know what I mean? Like, can you see how this is like, Homesick Mac, you were talking a little bit about this in the Just Create More thing. So my answer to this is like, because I know you have the 2 channel dilemma also. The way that I'm going to approach this is like, how can I take the personal, the ADHD part of me, I'm Tom's wife part of me, I have 2 dogs part of me, and inject that into
Yeah.
the teaching, because then it makes me stand out in terms of like how this thing fits into my life, but then also it makes it stand out for the people who are watching, because it's like, this is why I watch this YouTube person versus another
Right.
YouTube person.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry I cut you off.
No,
but
no, no,
I needed to get it out before I forgot.
That was great. That was perfect. I was just going to say, you do that without, if you're making clear and concise tutorials, for example, you don't want to then go, well, instead of doing a 3-minute tutorial, I'll do a 13-minute tutorial with 10 minutes of unrelated life
That's
stuff.
not the answer.
No,
Yeah.
but throwing in little bits of, little bits of personality. For me, it's like jokes and goofy things, or, if I need a subject or whatever, it's like a cute dog pops in and that kind of stuff. It doesn't take away from like the video, but it makes the video a lot more interesting in a way that makes it different from what somebody else would make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the tricky part with that is like no one can tell you what that is.
Yeah, you just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
You
I mean, I think the way that
knowing you'll never make everyone happy also.
Yeah. But like what also is another point I was gonna say, but it's just just talking about it here, is like Peter has a lot of fun making videos.
Yeah.
Like he's sitting there editing and he's just laughing to himself, and it's just like it's like really cool, because it reminded me of when I didn't know anything about YouTube. Like my first year on YouTube, I didn't know anything. I had no idea. So I was just like, it was all about just how much fun I was having. And like it reminded me so much of that. And it actually made me sad, because I was like, I used to have that much fun, but now it's like, oh, I have to make a video. Here's a list of videos I need to make, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
And I know we're about to check in the comments, but to kind of that point, I added up the videos on both of Peter's channels, and public videos on both channels is 538 videos. And I'm sure there's other ones that are like unlisted or removed or whatever over the years for any reason. So plus videos he's made for brands and client stuff that aren't on there. So you can easily say over 600 videos over the past 7 years. That's a lot. So that, like, it's awesome to me that he can still have so much fun and be so creative, find new things after doing it that many times. But it also becomes very apparent when you're out and you just see like boom, 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 like the crazy workflow. It didn't, like that came from doing it 600 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Putting in way more than the 10,000 hours.
Yeah, it's like seeing a professional cook in the kitchen. Like they don't need a recipe, dude.
The years of experience.
You can see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, really quick. Action Crypto says, I don't know if you talked about this with Peter. When you're going through storyboarding, do you or Peter have those frames living in your head?
That's a good question. I do usually when I'm like thinking of, okay, the intro needs to look like this, I want this kind of a setup. But it's pretty vague. Peter is really good. Like he was literally just like telling me, we were talking before this stream, and he's like, oh, I want to make this video, and it's going to start off with like a frame of this, and then this is going to happen, and a title's going to come in, and then it's going to say this, and then this is going to happen, that thing's going to happen over there.
There's definitely a vision. There's a vision.
Like he could go into like a movie studio and pitch a movie in that way of like, okay, we open on this, and then this thing happens, and you see this over here, and it's very visual. I think he has a lot of fun starting that way, knowing, I think at this point he is pretty good at making the actual thing look like what he's imagining, because he knows how. But sometimes it doesn't. You know, you have this idea, you get out, you go film something, and the thing you make doesn't look like what you're doing. But because you started with a good idea and the bar set really high, the thing you end up with can still be really good, even if it's different.
Yeah.
Or better, because sometimes you just can't plan on like, wow, the lighting is perfect, or there's a thing over here we didn't know about we could film at.
Tech Troublemaker says, I need my playlist to be like potato chips. You can't watch just one.
Yeah.
Yes. I
like that.
That's a perfect way to put it. He creates a personal story around the Roadcaster. Exactly. Is the stream freezing every 10 to 15 seconds? Let us know. I think we're having internet problems.
If it's not just you, it's us.
Yeah. We really need to do something about the internet.
It sucks.
Because we've been wireless for 5 years.
It's not even that. It's just our internet sucks.
We just don't have good internet. Let's see. Facts. I don't care about what Tom talks about. Show for the puns.
I guess I'm okay with that.
Michael says, I agree, but the person makes it. I stay with both of you because I love how everything was presented.
Yeah, it's fun to feel like you're spending time with someone that you just enjoy.
I love Peter Linger's storytelling. He can have a title about something, but it's first after 7 to 8 minutes in the video, he'd start talking about it.
But he doesn't do it in an annoying
Yeah.
way, which is key.
Let's see. I feel this way about Tom. I watch videos about things I have no idea about because I like spending time with Tom, and his videos are really beautiful no matter what they're about.
Thank you very much. Your stream was amazing today, by the way.
I'm experiencing something similar. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. Finally caved into Roadcaster. No.
No, this is mine. I just brought it in here so we could use it for the stream.
Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Angel.
Angel,
making
what's
videos
up?
is like therapy for my personal experience after making 500 plus YouTube videos. Exactly. Peter's all personality. Let's see. Images by Gretchen. Been a minute, but happy to catch you live today. Hello.
Yay.
I watched him talk about coffee. I don't even care about
Yeah,
coffee.
I mean, that's, you know.
Okay, let's get to the next thing. Do you want to
Okay.
go?
I think it was my turn, right?
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know for sure. Not that it matters. We can say the same points. Well, okay, I'll jump to this is actually gonna be my last point, but I think it's related to what people are doing here, because Peter has, over the past few years, figured out how to balance two different channels. And you're saying don't have two channels. People always talk about that. And I have seen Peter from like step 1 of 2 channels to now, and it has not been easy. If you watch now, it's very clear. This is the vlog channel, this is the main channel, and it looks so easy and clear. But I have seen the journey of like, should I, shouldn't I, this go here, let me try this over here, and it doesn't, and the frustration and the whatever. So it's probably a good idea, if possible, to benefit from his like 18-month experiment of trying to figure out should I, shouldn't I with 2 channels, and he landed on yes 2 channels for him personally, which worked really well in his case because he has a clear purpose for the 2 channels. The main channel is when it is a photo video related topic. So it's a review, it's a tutorial, it's something like that. You know, if it's talking about a camera or something kind of like that, it goes on the main channel. If it's personal, it goes on the vlog channel. And that has, I know that sounds very, very clear, but it's hard when you want to put your personality into your channel and you think like,
It's hard.
well, I'll just put a vlog, like I can put a vlog on my main channel and then people will get to know me a little bit better when I talk about the other things. But then of course, you know, at that point, when you have hundreds of thousands of subscribers on your channel, you know, it's tough to sort of pivot in that way. And I know he's even got people who, you would think everyone on the vlog channel came from the big channel, but there's people who aren't familiar with the big channel. They only found the vlogs. And there's a lot less pressure that way because he, you know, obviously like he wants the vlogs to do well. He spends time editing them, but he also set a limit of like, okay, I'm going to spend maximum 2 hours editing a vlog. I don't know how many hours he'll spend editing a main channel video, but I know personally I'll easily sometimes spend 10, 15 hours editing if it's a really in-depth video. So to say like, I'm gonna do a vlog, 2 hours max editing, and then I'm done. You know, giving yourself that kind of constraint, making the best video you can in that time makes it a bit more sustainable. Personally, like having started a second channel in the recent months, even though I don't post very often, just knowing that it's there is great because I know that when I have an idea, I'm not trying to shoehorn it into a main channel thing. If I want to film something, but I don't like, there are so many times where I would say, I want to film a video, but I can't figure out how to make this work in like a video that would work on my channel. So I guess I just won't record anything. And now that's not the case. Like I can record it and I can put it over there, knowing that channel is like not going to necessarily grow or, you know, but the creative outlet is there. And so there's room for creative outlet. There's room for the main thing. And I don't know, it took him a year and a half or more to get to a point where there's a clear differentiating factor. But he did a really good job. And if you go watch his main channel, go watch his vlog channel, you can see it's the same, it's different sides of the same person, basically.
So my takeaway from 2 channel Peter is only have 1 channel.
Why do you say that?
Because Peter can do 2 channels.
Yeah.
Because, especially for someone who's doing full-time YouTube, is because the main channel carries his life.
You can't mess that up. Yeah, you can't. Like,
So-
here's a vlog, but now it screwed up all of our income this month.
Yes. So like if you are not like, I swear this is probably only me. Because everyone else wouldn't quit their jobs until they were like you and it was like stable enough, right? Because even you did this. Where think it's just so much easier for everybody. You, the creator, sponsors, brands, partners, whoever, if you are only known for one thing. So my advice, especially if you want to do this full time, is get your channel, your one main channel for what you want to be known for, to 50,000 subscribers. That's just the number I'm going to throw out there, because it's a number that's like, you can't get to 50,000 off of one viral video. You have to build that up over a library of videos and over time, but it's not, you could definitely make a full-time income with even less than that.
Yeah.
But a sponsor can't argue with 50,000. Like that's like a really good audience size.
Yeah.
Make 3 channels. Make whatever channel you want. You want to do creative outlets, you want to do vlogs, you want to do freaking, a podcast, live stream. Go ahead. But like,
yeah,
the thing is, like, with a creative endeavor, if you feel any kind of, and I'm talking to me, right? If you feel any kind of like, there's some kind of pull to do something different. And my instinct is like, okay, second channel, do it up, get into vlogging, like do all that. Instead, channel that creativity and that energy into, how can I make my main channel get to 50,000?
Yeah. Like,
do I have to do a new angle? Do I have to, put more of a personal story? Do I have to like switch something up, level up gear, get a second monitor, whatever, like whatever you need to do to get your channel to a point where you are getting opportunities for what you want out of it, right? So whether that's income, opportunities, like partnerships, whatever, and then go ahead and branch out and do whatever. Because here's the thing, right? I don't think this is a secret. Like, Peter's at the point where obviously he's getting brand deals and sponsorships for his main channel, but now it's also spilling in to the tiny channel, right? Like, tiny in comparison. It's like, 11, 12,000 subscribers, which is a lot, but compared to over 500,000, like, obviously that's the one that you'd think, if sponsors had an opportunity to get in front of either, obviously they'd pick the big one. No, like, they're willing to pay to be on the small one also. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing to like, I think that's the goal, right? Yeah. So like, if you have no interest in the business side and income and branding and all of that, then obviously there really is no right or wrong way to do it. But like, especially for me, who is trying to get to a point where my brand is my main source of income, because it's not right now. I still do a lot of client work. That's my advice, is like, if I feel the urge to vlog, which happens all the time, like, I'm going to try to channel that into my tutorial channel, because my tutorial channel should really be my main channel.
Yeah. I can say the thing that you said too, you have the urge and then you want to do something creative, finding a way, if possible, to do a version of that. Like, focus on the one main thing until you build it up to a point. That definitely helped me. And I should have mentioned too that Peter didn't start his second channel or dive into that until he was at 350, 400,000 subscribers. So it wasn't a thing that was like constantly happening the whole time. Like,
I think it's so hard to focus on 2 things at once.
It was definitely build up this thing, do that. And then when that was at a point where it's like, I don't want to throw any sticks in the spokes of this bike here. Like,
but see, this is why I think the first thing I talked about is so important, because like, if I can incorporate more of the personality, the vlog style into what is going to be the main channel, then that should, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, some of my best things, like best videos, audience favorite things or whatever, are those goofy little things that was like, I just want to see if I could, it's probably something that I would have put on another channel, but there wasn't one. So it was like, can I do this here? Can I like figure that out? And then that's what makes those videos more special.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
So like, another example is on my vlog channel, on this channel, I talk about how I have ADHD. Why don't I also talk about that? Oh,
yeah,
why are they calling her down? Do you want to pick that up?
No.
Just answer. What if they just answer right now? What if they say something cool.
I don't know.
I think you should answer.
I'm gonna wait. They'll leave a message.
They're watching right now.
Oh, what if?
That's why.
Well, if you are, call again, and then we'll know.
Yeah. So like, I talk about ADHD on the vlog channel, which I'm very proud of. But also, like, why don't I talk about how ADHD relates to being a YouTube creator over my tutorial channel? Like, that is something only I can talk about from my own experience.
And you don't
instead,
necessarily...
I talk about, like, you know, give the people what I think they want to hear. Like,
you can do that too, however you want. Like,
you
can make a video about like, this is ADHD and creating, but you can also just like, as you're doing something, as you're making a video, a thought slips out of your head. You can just say, oh man, like I have ADHD. It's always so hard. Like, got to go back into my notes. You could edit that out of a video, but just leaving in that little thing right there. Now we have another like shade of personality.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's really important.
Exactly. Okay. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Another thing that I learned was, I think it's easy to look at Peter's channel, and again, because the audience is there, it's like, oh, like this is so easy. Like you're
right. You look at the finished product and you're like, oh yeah.
Like you must, it's hard not to think like, oh yeah, you just post a video and the thousands of views just come in. Like, obviously we know that there's work and there's experience and there's dedication, but what I thought was really interesting was that he doesn't necessarily start recording and start making a video thinking it's going to be a good one. So for example, he did a video where it was a vlog where he flew business class for the first time, and that was the flight that he took to LA to come here. And like so many times, I mean, I think you talked about this on your podcast. He was like, as I was recording that video, as I was sitting on business class, I was like, this is going to be the most boring video ever. Like, I don't even know how to make this interesting, but he still did it. Like, he still recorded it.
That video is on the vlog. I think it's the most recent vlog channel video. It's so good.
Yeah. I think it's called Taking a Break or something.
It's now called First Time Flying Business Class.
Oh, that's right. He changed the title. But I just thought that was like, because, you know, like I imagine Casey just assumes every video is going to get 1 million views or something like that. But with Peter, it's like, it's not that, but it's still fun the process is still fun. And when he was editing that video, that's the part where he was just like laughing. Like, I loved how he was editing, laughing, and then he would pull down his headphones and he's like, hey, look at this. Like, isn't this funny? And I'm just like, see that, like, that urge to share, even if it's just Tom or just me in the kitchen, like that same thing is really what YouTube allows you to do, but at scale. It's just like, look at this. Isn't this funny? Like, look what I did. Like, here, isn't this cool?
Yeah.
And that's the power of like you creating something from what you recorded.
Yeah, nothing is taken for granted, because I know Peter would love if every video got, you know, hundreds of thousands of views and stuff, but he's like, I think he approaches it very much like everything starts from zero. Like, the last video did well doesn't mean this one's going to do well. Like, I have to earn it. I have to figure it out. I have to try really hard, and sometimes it doesn't hit the level that he wants it to, and like he just comes back at it and tries to like figure it out again. So it's definitely, there is no like sense of entitlement or assumption or anything. It's like every video is from the ground up. How do I make this interesting for the viewer? How do I make this perform well on YouTube? How do I achieve the goal I'm setting out to do every single time, 600 times? I have a voicemail. I'm just confused. I just want to see. I'll let you. Oh. It's so funny.
Is it the same guy?
I don't know.
I think you need to hit it up.
I will.
Yeah, we need to talk. Sorry. Okay, so I have another one. Are you done?
No.
Oh. Okay,
let's keep going though.
Let's see. I learned more over live stream because I feel like it's more authentic. You actually see the person turning on the camera, going through the settings. Informal streams are my favorite by far.
It's fun to see that side of things.
second channel like gaming or bass playing?
My second channel is not bass playing, but like that's what it is now.
That's what it's becoming.
Because
yeah.
and Peter and I were talking about that because I was like, every video is just like guitar or bass related at this point, and so I want to make the next video not that, so people don't do that. He was like, who cares? Like, that's not what the channel's there for. Like, it's there for you to post. If you want to make bass videos and then suddenly make something else, that's what the channel's for. Like, it's not. The other channel is
Hey,
the strategy
Doc.
channel.
Oh, Peter, you've been
Oh.
listening this entire stream. That's funny.
No, let us know when you're not. We can say all the mean things.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go next?
Sure. Let's see. Let's see if I have anything nice left to say. Oh yeah, here's a great one actually. Share what you know and what you have, because
Oh yeah, that's right. That was a good one.
Peter, like, whether it's time, knowledge, gear, like experience, absolutely incredibly generous. I think it would be very easy for someone with a large channel to kind of go like, this is my secret recipe, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be over here, I'm gonna be doing my thing. And Peter is like, no problem with like, we need to use, like, if it's easier or just makes more sense to use my piece of equipment, we'll do that. I have an idea that would make your video cool. Let me share this idea with you. I have like whatever it is, like there is no sense of like I'm holding this back because this is mine and I want it to do good. It's like, no, just share. Like, we can all share that. And I thought that was great because that's what you kind of want everybody to do all the time in life is like be generous and share stuff. But that was cool, and it was also like it was like Peter can be, one of my other things is like being direct. So I kind of have two, this is tied into that. So for example, sharing knowledge. We're out filming. One thing I learned about myself was that while I make videos alone, I feel like I can make really good videos alone. And like no one's watching me, I can get these amazing shots and set things up. I learned that when someone else is there, especially if it's someone who I know their skills are beyond mine, I suddenly forget like what a camera is. And I'm like, where's the focus and the button and like the thing? What does it do? And I swear I'm more skilled than it. And so that was a learning experience of just like, okay, like Peter, it doesn't matter. We're in a Circle K, we're in the desert, we're in Long Beach. He's the same as if he's in his studio at home. Like, the same level of skill, the same level of comfort, the same level of everything. Like, I'm just going to do that. And I didn't reach that point, but it's like, okay, I need to work on that thing of like, I can operate when other people are, because I didn't think I had like stage fright anymore at this point. 100% do when it comes to like working under the pressure, which is very interesting to learn. And so because of that, well, not even because of that, but you know, like I would be using the camera in a certain way. Peter's been using Sony cameras forever. And so he'd be like, oh, you switch this setting here, do this, you could do this over here. It's like, I didn't know all these things here. And it's not that he was like, I guess like if you were setting something up and I just came in and said, no, you got to do it this way, that way, that could easily feel like somebody is
telling you how to do it.
Yeah. And that's not the case at all with like, Peter's like, I'm just sharing knowledge. Like, check it out. This is going to be really helpful for you here. We were filming stuff. If I was trying to get a shot and it wasn't what he had in mind, he would just say like, let's do it again. Let's try this over here. Put it over here. Let's try this over here. Like, and it wasn't in any way that made you feel bad. It wasn't in any way like just being super direct, because also when we were in Long Beach, we ended up having dinner with a brand rep from a company like Peter had been working with for a long time. And they just happened to be based in LA. So they got to meet in person. We all had dinner together. And he was also just really good at like being direct with like, this is what I would want from the brand. This is where the brand isn't like serving creators. This is where you guys are missing opportunities. This is why you're not seeing the results that you want, but not in a jerkish way. In a like, here's just like my thoughts on this. This is why, this is how that works. You know, kind of take like being direct, sharing your opinion, sharing your experience, sharing everything you have in a very direct, but yet still approachable way. It's definitely a skill that takes time and practice to build. But it was very, very cool to see someone who has it down.
Right. I think it's unlearning that we have to do.
Yeah. So a good example would be the first school that I taught digital media at. I was part of like a team because it was a digital media program that was more than just me. And I remember like we had like our coordinator she was very direct. And so she had no problem going into like an administrator's office and being like, we need to fix like this can't blah, 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 like very direct and very assertive. And that was just part of her personality. When I left to start my own program at a different school, I knew I don't have that anymore. This is also new here. People don't know anything. I need to be the one who's going to assert and be direct and stick up for the thing that I'm doing and value it. And the first year I was there, I completely like was all over the map with like being way too aggressive, way too like passive, to the point where like I had to go back and apologize to people for like being too much, and learning over time, like, okay, I do need to stand up for myself. I do need to be assertive in this way, but I don't need to alienate anyone in the process. And like, I don't need to, like, there's a way to do it and you have to learn it, and it's hard to learn.
Yeah.
Peter's really good at it in every way, but just I was really blown away by just the generosity of everything. Like,
I think this, like, American culture is judgy, so we freak out when we think we'll be judged. That's why so many good creators are not from here. We fear being judged. Yeah, I think like, it's like before I even say anything, I'm already like trying to tiptoe, because that's just what I'm used to. Whereas I think there is not that. It's kind of like how, you know, in America we're always smiling. Like that. I think that's just part of our culture.
Don't judge me. I'm smiling.
Hey, Tom, that's exactly what happened to me. Meeting great musicians in person. Like, is this a guitar?
Yeah, and you're like, I've been doing this for years. And that was a thing too. Is like, I've been using cameras longer than Peter, because he started 2014-ish, like prior to YouTube. I've been using cameras since I was since the 1990s, like the early 90s. But recognizing that has nothing to do with it, because in the time Peter's been using cameras, he's put in more hours, more reps, more experience, and therefore his skill level is at a place where mine is not. And that's cool, because now I can learn, because he is so generous and willing to share the stuff that he knows to help me learn and get better at what I do. And that is really cool. That was very fun.
Yeah.
I liked having that. I don't know, I just like that a lot.
Do you want me to do the next one?
Trying to. I put this mic up high and then I put the chair down low, and now the mic is like
in your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure is.
Okay, so here, I'll take the next one. Did you do it already?
I kind of merged a couple, so yeah, it's all you.
Okay. I think we talked about this a little bit already, but okay, how do I explain this? So when I'm making a tutorial, I know I'm making a tutorial. I immediately go into like teacher mode, where I kind of just like, I think, you know when you're on a live stream, you blink and it's over, and you've been talking the entire time,
like
but you just
90 minutes went by?
like you just you're just like on. And then my attitude when I make a vlog is like, I'm just documenting it as it happens. Like, it's there really is no like planning or prep. It's just like, I'll find it in the edit or whatever. Or sometimes it's like, okay, I know we're gonna go, to this event or do this thing, but that's really kind of the extent of it. But this reminded me of, this is gonna sound really weird, but during my first year of doing YouTube and building a business and stuff like that, I was a very lonely person. I didn't know you back then. I was
over here
not
being
the best
lonely
time in
by
my
myself.
life. So yeah, on YouTube, it was all great, but I was definitely like, probably having a little bit too much to drink on Friday nights, because I was just so freaking stressed out. But the crazy part is I would vlog. And like to the point where like I would watch the footage in the morning and be like, I can't believe how good this is. The angles were amazing. Like I would set up my camera with the Joby Gorilla Pod like in the gutter to get like footsteps across the sidewalk, and not even remember it in the morning, which is like,
It's a little scary, but also creatively
but like
good.
It like knowing that I could still be creative with just absolutely like no inhibitions, no thought of like storyboarding or strategy or anything, just like obviously pure, like in the moment having fun. I kind of wish I had a little bit more of that. And I found a balance of that. And Peter does this really well, is my point.
He vlogs like he's drunk.
No, like there's a funness.
Yes.
But there's also a level of like performance. Like I know people are watching this. So like whereas for me it's like with my vlog with tutorial, I know people are watching it to the extreme. And then on the vlog, it's like I almost try to look at it as like you are a part of what's happening. Like that's how I see the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But instead it's like here's the thing that I want to share because it's fun and it's a part of my life, but also I know you're going to be watching. So how do we make this more engaging, entertaining,
Right.
more like even if it means, I was there when he literally edited this out. So in the business class vlog, in the moment he recorded like, okay, this is my first time flying business class. And like, here's what I'm doing today, and blah, blah, blah. And at first that was in the intro of the vlog. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to take that out because by seeing everything else that's happening, you will put that together. And instead of spoiling what's happening in the beginning by just telling you the punchline, take it out. And it makes the whole thing more engaging. And like that kind of level of like awareness of, yes, we're authentic. We're still us. It's not like anything is manufactured.
Right.
But there is just such an awareness of like, there is a performance.
The viewer experience.
The viewer experience. We know that we are conscious of like what the takeaway is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's a big one. That's often a very underrated part of any kind of YouTube or content creation where you're in front of the camera is being in front of the camera because it's so common where people are like, oh, you just talk to a camera, you just point this. It's like, oh, go do it.
Yeah. Because it's not just about like, the confidence and the comfort of being on camera, but it's also being aware of like you have to also like remember that someone else is watching, right? Like it's one thing to just talk and feel comfortable about what it is that you're saying,
trying to communicate.
Yeah, but then it's also another thing to like, what are they taking away from this, or like what can you do? I can't tell you how many times in the 3 days I saw you where Peter was just like, oh my gosh, you know what we should do? We should do this. Like you should hold this and then you say this and then I'll come running from the back or whatever. And like that, we don't do that. In New York, the New York vlogs, all of that, there was none of that. It was more of like, oh, our trip got canceled. Like, let's record what's happening. But it wasn't like, how do we make this more like...
So, if you're listening, Peter, I hope you're okay with me sharing this. No, I know you would be because you vlogged it, actually. So, on Sunday, dropping Peter off at LAX, which was the busiest I've ever seen LAX because it turns out, like, the president's coming and world leaders are coming, and, like, it was just insanely busy. And Peter's going international, so we pull around the corner, this whole thing, finally, like, double park basically get in. We say our goodbyes, like, oh, it's been so great having you here. Like, oh, yay, hug, all the thing. He leaves. I'm about to pull away, and he comes over and goes, hey, I left my phone in your car. It's like, oh, okay. Wait, where is it? You can't find it. And then we're looking everywhere for his phone, and we're realizing we can't find it. And so we proceed to spend 45 minutes in that spot where you're supposed to sit for, 2 minutes maybe, looking for Peter's phone until eventually realizing that we left it at Walmart because Peter wanted to see an American Walmart. And so he went there and he vlogged in there and the phone got left in the Walmart and is gone because, so that sucked. And he's also going on an international flight and his phone case was one that had like ID, credit card or debit card and stuff on it. So it was a lot of stuff. So we're also kind of like panicking, like, can you get on the plane? Of course, he's super smart because he also printed out documents for everything, still had his passport. He's like, yeah, I just won't have my phone and I just won't have any money, but I have everything I need to get home. And that was very stressful. And, like, it's a very scary thing to be like, okay, I'm just going to be in this country that I don't live in and try to travel internationally. And now I have no money and no way to contact anybody, hoping for the best here. And so that was a very stressful 45 minutes. But finally at the end, when it was like, okay, he's like, my plane's leaving. I guess I just got to go and hope for the best. He flips on the camera, turns and goes, and it's just like him sitting on the curb because that's where he was. And it's just like, so this is what happened, like just setting up. I left my phone, don't have my phone, and now I have to get on the plane internationally and just like looking sad, which was that was what was happening, but still in that moment, stress, craziness. this would be a very interesting thing to share. Like,
You know what you would never do?
no, I would just be like, well, I guess I can't make a video now because I have to focus on this life
Hmm.
thing here. And he's like, no, this will this will be interesting content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was funny.
It's just like,
Scary but funny.
yeah. Anyways, Peter says he loves listening to this.
Prepping for tomorrow. Oh, good.
Peter is vlogging well tilted. No, he's not, but that's what I did a couple times when I first started. And it's like I just it's like overthinking and also like underthinking at the same time. Because now I think what I do is like I overthink things, but also I really appreciate when I'm not thinking at all, because then
Yeah.
you kind of like just capture it as at its essence.
Right.
And you know, so that's why it's like, this is what's tricky about it. There's no right or wrong. You don't know what it looks like for you. It really is just a gut feeling of like, okay, this is
Yeah.
what I feel like I should be doing. But yeah, it was just like really cool. It was really cool to see both of you guys in your element.
Yeah. And that was one of my last points, was filming in public. Peter could not give less of a crap about filming in public, which like and that's a hard, and that just comes with practice. Cause you were even saying like when you were vlogging constantly, you didn't care at all. But if you went right now, you would feel like it's a muscle that you can lose. The like comfort.
I don't know, because like in New
I said
York,
that
I
the other
seriously
day.
didn't even care.
New York is different. I don't even care because there's so many people nobody's paying attention to.
Well, here it's not like, for me, I still don't care, but my point was that here people are not used to seeing YouTubers, whereas like in
Yeah.
LA or New York, like it's not uncommon.
But it was an interesting thing because Peter's like, he's very tall, he's like big, and like, you know, he's very above average height and like physical size here for our local area, and we're like in Circle K, and he's just like vlogging in Circle K. But for some reason it was like not intrusive, because he was just like, it almost looked like just a guy having a FaceTime call. Like it was something it wasn't like bothering anyone. He wasn't like being weird about it. Just like, yeah, like it's way more interesting if I'm in another country filming inside the store than telling you about what the store was like later on. Like, you want to see me in it doing it, and nobody cared. Maybe some people gave some weird looks, but it doesn't matter. And just the level of comfort of just going for it. And even like we're filming a video in Long Beach, and there were these kids skating, and he just walked up and he's like, "Can I get some shots of you, like, you know, slow motion shots of you doing skate tricks or whatever?" And the kids are like, "Yeah, okay." And then the kid got super nervous and like forgot how to skate, basically. But just that kind of thing where it's like, I would never be comfortable doing that. And you just see the muscles that have been built up after so much repetition.
Yeah.
And that's really all that it is like practice, practice, practice. And I'm sure that if you go back and watch Peter's early videos, that was not what
Yeah.
you're gonna see.
Yeah. Like you cannot argue with like the experience. It's evident in every,
And it's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
You can't swap
like
it out.
even the way that like he comes up with ideas. It's like it's just, you've made so many videos that you could imagine exactly what the shot's gonna look like, or
Yeah.
you know, those ideas are gonna start. It's like you don't have to force them because you're already.
You just get in that mode.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
It's like, yeah, it reminds me, I remember when I was a sign artist at Trader Joe's, it's the exact same thing. I did that job for years, and so we would make, like, some of the signs we make were bigger or as big as like the desk that we're using right now. It's not just like little things, but you make really big things. And I remember you just have so many things in a toolkit where it's like, oh, we need like these cheese crunchies in this juice. We need a giant 4-foot by 8-foot sign for these. And it's like, okay. I remember early on, like, what do I do? Like, I have to go find a font or whatever. And then after a while, it's like, okay, I can just imagine this perfectly cool. We're going to paint these colors here. This color's going to go with it here. I know how to do this kind of backgroundy stencil thing. We're going to do that. This font here. We're going to draw a goofy little character saying a thing here, and that's going to need to be spaced that way. Like, didn't even need to use a ruler sometimes because it's just like, you know, to space the letters the right way. Like, you just sort of go through the repetition so many times that you put together this thing where it's like, wow, I couldn't have done this before, but I can do this now. I have all these tools in my toolkit.
So tomorrow is the first tutorial that I'm going to be recording
Mm-hmm.
after like all of this. Like this, my creator creed, my like new approach on it. I was gonna say like we could talk about this on the next couple table because I actually wrote this like outline before all of this, like a couple months ago. And to see it compared to when I wrote it this morning
Oh,
is
wow.
like so it's like I
That would
am
be great to see
so
the same
glad.
idea from two different.
I'm so glad I didn't make it.
Yeah.
It's like cringe. Like I can't believe I thought it was I can't believe.
That is something we should make a note of, like, that's what we do next week.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I should have that video done. So maybe we could watch it. But oh my gosh.
Yeah, that'd be great next week.
Like even
yeah.
the title, is just I can't help but cringe. It's like
Make a
so
note
bad.
of this. This is what we need to do.
I won't forget.
Peter said the puns are amazing. I should say I was editing a video, or I edited a video that Peter and I filmed together yesterday, and I uploaded it and scheduled it, but I did like auto captions to go in, and then I go in and fix them by hand. And the auto captions put Peter Lindgren as Peter LinkedIn.
And he could not stop laughing.
Because not just that it was that, but it was perfectly capitalized, like the capital L, capital I. And I was like, that's just like really funny to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a missed opportunity, but yeah.
Well, there you go.
Trader
Did
Joe's
you
Steins, thumbnail
go through your whole list?
I mean, I'm sure that there's more. Work with a plan, but be flexible.
That's great.
Peter's very good. We kind of talked about that. Like, this is what I want to go do, but now that we're here, what about this? Or like we filmed the podcast together just in our backyard, like a video and audio podcast. Our original plan was to film that in the middle of the desert. We drove around trying to find locations, could not find a good location, and instead of forcing that to happen, we said we'll do that tomorrow. But instead, what we ended up finding was this amazing sunset location where we got all kinds of footage, and I also discovered, like, very nearby there's an amazing spot that I can go to anytime for like drones and ambient, like, outdoor shots. Talked about filming in public and talked about editing. This was the thing. It doesn't mean like you could never have someone edit for you or whatever, but one of the first things people want to offload when they start a channel is the editing, because like, I filmed the video, I'll pay someone to do the edit, and then the channel's done. But the editing is where the video is
so
made.
much of where the thumbprint comes from.
Yeah, that's what makes it yours. And over time, once you develop that thumbprint, then you might be able to work to find someone who understands what that is, and they could work within your style. Because, lots of people, like, an MKBHD video, I think he still actually edits most of his. But there are people who edit, like PewDiePie maybe is a good example, right? He doesn't edit his own videos, but he's in tune with his editor enough that they feel like his video. Like,
Yeah.
they're speaking the same language. It's a collaborative thing. That can happen, but that happened after, I don't know, 8,000 videos.
Style,
or
it's a
something.
humor, it's like
There had to be something there established already to work with, and then try to find someone who can match that style is really hard. But just the respect for the edit and the confidence of, I'm going to have all this raw material and I know I can piece it together.
Yeah.
Not that you're not, of course you have a plan, but knowing that the edit is where it's really going to come together in ways that I can't plan, and I'm not going to be precious about, like, I have to keep this thing in because I really loved it. It's like, no, get that intro out of there because it makes the video so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were kind of my last 2 points.
Let's see. I wrote down, these can be really long, and it's not necessarily it wasn't necessarily something like that Peter said, but it was more of like observations and maybe hypotheses that I was like, oh, Peter like makes me think of this, or like what we were talking about. So the first thing is platforms are changing. Platform gurus do a really good job of getting you to feel like you know enough to get started, but there are plenty of people who know nothing and see success.
Yeah.
So that was point number 1. Point number 2 is I really do feel like success is going to be less about volume and more about depth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, Peter's a perfect example. Like you're very successful and not at 1 million subscribers. 500,000 is an incredible number, but it, compared to tens of millions or whatever people think is like, when kids say I want to be a YouTuber, they think of like the most massively sized YouTuber. Like I really think there is no like number that you need to hit. except 50,000.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've talked about that before. Like a lot of times on Reddit, I'll read threads that are like, "What are some underrated small YouTube channels that you recommend?"
All like
90% of them have over 1 million subscribers that get put in the
yeah,
thing, but it's like
that's
they only got 1.7 million. They only got 900,000. I got whatever. And it's like, I think the question's asking
50,000
like,
is like such a smaller number than 1 million. Like I
that's
don't
true.
understand if people
Facts.
like realize that, you know?
Yeah, 50,000 is a good number because I think for a few reasons, not because you want to focus only on numbers, but
Right.
because it's like you said, it's not something you can really do accidentally. Like
Nope.
one viral video is not going to get you there. It's
No.
going to take some time and some energy. No one can really argue with it. So at that point, if you want to approach a brand or whatever, like it's a legit number to approach someone with.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the same reason I actually have no issue with YouTube's monetization rules of like the 4,000 hours and the 1,000 subscribers. By the time you get to that point, you'll have
put all that in.
yeah,
and more.
like the amount of like you'll have things figured out in a way that you can only figure it out by experience. So you're forcing the level of
Yeah.
experience on yourself by getting to that level, which is just going to set you up to be more successful when you're there. So I think that's why that's a good number, not because it unlocks some magical thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like an arbitrary
Yeah.
number. So there you go.
That was fun. I'm sure I know that there's a lot more, and also just having fun, like being in your 30s and being able to just go like play.
But then
with
also
someone
take
was
it
awesome.
seriously. Like that was a really cool. Like no, it's not just like we just whip the camera out because you're YouTubers and you're just like
No. When I
having
said play,
fun.
I mean like we're like
Yeah. No,
the
I
number
know.
of times that like there was a time we were in Long Beach filming something, and then I was asking Peter about like tripod plates, what he was using, and it was literally like, we're sitting there talking. He's like, yeah, so I have the tripod here, and I have this plate here has this thing, but this plate has that. And I was like, from my point of view, you realize I'm just watching one of your videos right now because you're even holding the things up to me so I can like focus on them. So it's like that level of just being nerdy about this kind of stuff is really like, I want to talk about the gear and that because that is fun. Like that's the hobby and the excitement and the
Yeah.
I watched a King of the Hill episode the other day where the B plot was that Dale, one of the neighbors, got a new trash can like for garbage day, and it was like them standing out in the alley like, yeah, look at this thing, like it can stand up to all kind of weather, like no trash truck could destroy it. Like they were just excited about like, yeah, yard gear or whatever. And it's like that feeling of just like, this is something that's really, really fun. And then yes, taking the YouTube part of it very seriously. There is no like, oh shucks, like I'm just out here with my
Yeah.
camera. I don't know. I didn't
doesn't
know I
just
was
matter.
strategically making a well-structured video. It's like, no, this is
There's dedication, there's
Yeah.
thought, there's effort, there's definitely effort being exerted. Yes, there's things that come naturally. Yes, there's experience that's been built over time, but there's still an effort that really shows, that clearly shows.
Yeah, and again, I think that's an important that I almost realized while talking about it, but approaching every video as like nothing is guaranteed or nothing is.
This could be the very first video someone sees of you.
Yeah, and it's just because your last video did well or didn't do well. In some ways, I know algorithmically this might not be 100% true, but in some ways has no bearing on the video that you're making right now.
Marta, you are totally invited.
All right, so we should check in with comments and then wrap up.
Yeah. Well, everyone's been enjoying the conversation. There isn't like.
Well, that's good.
I love this Trader Joe Sides thumbnail prep course. That is very
completely true. I always think of billboards as well because you're flying down the freeway really fast and you have a billboard is massive, but you only have a few seconds to get the info from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I kind of burped at the end of that there.
Well, there you go. I don't think I missed anything.
No, I think
But thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you found that helpful. And
Yeah.
Peter, if you're still here, like it
good
was
luck tomorrow and
so much fun hanging out, and you're welcome
Yeah.
anytime.
yeah. If you just want to make the quick little trip over. And if you weren't here at the beginning, we did run all the audio of this stream through the Rodecaster Pro 2, which this could be one of, if not the very first stream with the Rodecaster Pro 2 that has been
And if
done.
there's any lag, it was not this, it was our internet.
Yeah,
we
even
need
though
to
we're running
figure
beta
out.
firmware, the beta seemed
Yeah.
to be working great. I am going to be doing a Rodecaster Pro specific stream with Heather on Saturday morning. So it will be, it's before Doc stream. Mine's 9 a.m. Pacific time. So the stream go 90 minutes, take a break, and then you can go to Doc stream on Saturday.
Woo-hoo.
I didn't want to. There it is. Because I know when Doc heard, like, what, your streams at the same time, maybe?
Why are
The
you
record.
bleeding?
Oh, because I hurt myself.
Why are you bleeding?
And not on purpose. So that'll be there. Heather will be there, and then that's where it's like I want to showcase some of the things that it can do, but also people have a lot of questions. So if you want to show up and be like, "Hey, could you do this? What happens if you do this?" Blah blah blah. We can kind of just explore it together, and that'll be really fun.
Also, there were like 600 people last time Tom went live, so if you just want to tune into,
I don't think that'll happen this time.
it's still gonna be a couple hundred.
I don't think that. Yeah, that was insane. I don't think that'll happen this time.
It'll be a fun. We're just gonna have fun.
But it's cool to actually see, and I think other people now have the beta firmware as well, so you could start seeing other people's like
Doc.
points of view. Yeah, it's what is it? 9 a.m. Is
That's
like
like
6
3.
a.m. No, is it? No, they're 3 hours behind us, right?
Oh, you're right. 3
Yeah.
hours behind.
So it's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Doc's time.
I thought it was 6 hours.
Rise and shine.
Yeah. HR focus. Don't look at the blood.
No, I had a little thing, like I pulled skin at my cuticle and it started bleeding, and yeah.
All right.
Anyway, it's time to clear the table and get a Band-Aid.
Yes.
So, thanks for watching. Hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your week, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.